So today I'm hanging out with my buddy John, and I found out that someone we all know is in town, Sean Williams, who happens to live right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So after hanging out with John, let's see if I can get Sean to sit down with me and have a great cigar conversation. Finally, man.
Finally. It's been a minute.
I know. You're racking up those frequent flyer miles.
Comes with the territory, man. Comes with the territory.
Yep. You traveling for two, or you traveling for one?
Traveling for one, man.
Traveling for one.
Strictly Cohiba.
So just doing a whole lot more.
Yeah, I mean it's a major brand, obviously. It's
right.
Arguably the most iconic name in cigars. So it's a lot of demand for it, which I'm happy to be in this position. So a lot of traveling. But again, I'm enjoying it. It's been good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I happen to be in the neighborhood because I knew you were in town.
And you're always welcome.
And thank you. And I know you. As soon as you land, you're gone again. So yeah. I'm using this opportunity to say, I need you on my turf. Cigar Conversation's been going well, and
all right.
We need to have a cigar conversation on my turf. What do you say about that?
You say the word, I'm there. Yeah.
All right. What are you into, man, as far as eating?
Steak guy. Whenever you get a chance, you can't beat a good steak, man.
I got a perfect spot.
All right.
You're in town for a couple of days. Let me go ahead and let's do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow works.
All right. Well, until then, I'm going to go ahead and light up this bad boy right here. This is the good thing about you being in town. Now, this is what it's all about.
When it's all said and done, nothing beats it, man.
Until later, Cigar Conversations with Sean Williams. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Sean Johnson with Cigar Conversations. Here we go again, and I'm sitting here with Sean Williams. What do you think, man? Thank you for having me. What do you think? I told you I was going to take you somewhere nice.
Thank you. This is pretty cool. I have not been here, actually, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy the steak as well.
Can't wait.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to go right into it. It's almost a year since you've been working with Cohiba. How do you feel?
It's crazy, man. It's been not quite a year, actually. I signed the contract in April, and took over leading up the brand, working with the brand at least in May 1. So it's been 7 months. It seems like forever, though. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind, man. So it's been exciting. It's a different take, having created your own brand and launched and grew and nurtured your own brand for 10 years. To walk over from that into such an iconic brand like Cohiba, and also such a large and dominant company like General Cigar.
Exactly.
Big difference.
That was going to be my question, because you have your own brand, and then you get that phone call saying, "Hey, what do you think about repping? Working with Cohiba?" It's like I'm thinking it's like someone calling the executive at Coca-Cola, say, "Hey, I want you to work with Pepsi."
Okay. Well, first, I'm not a rep.
Well, not a rep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, But no, it's you know, so you get the call and they say, hey, would you like to be the guy for Cohiba? It's
Right.
like, first off, you know, question I'm asking is, you know, does Cohiba need a guy? I mean, it's Cohiba,
Right.
right? Yeah, it was sort of a shock, so to speak. You know, we had some other talks about other things prior to that, it was an honor actually to sort of, you know, take a brand like Cohiba that's such a storied brand, so iconic in the industry, and have them say, or at least have them think that, you know, hey, this may be the guy to be sort of the face of it, the lead for the brand. Yeah, it was an honor, but then a lot comes with that. Like, how does that work? You know,
Right.
what are the realistic expectations going to be? How do I fit in? What's the direction going forward? What's my role in that? And just a lot of moving parts on both sides. I mean, because you know, obviously it's a brand that's been wildly successful long before I ever walked into the picture. So you know, there's a lot of risk on their part as well to say, hey, you know, we want you to be the person out front of a brand that's never had a person out front. So both sides, it was a lot of sort of trepidation, you know.
Hold on. Did you say has never had a face behind the brand? So so your position is the first of its kind with Cohiba. There's never been.
Well, you tell me. There's never been, yeah, no. There's never been a guy for Cohiba, and you know. But let's sort of back up. The whole concept of having a guy is relatively new in the cigar industry. You know, that came along with the rise of the boutique brands. I mean, if you go back maybe early 90s, mid 90s, that's when you started seeing personalities out front of brands. But before that, if you look at the long-standing storied brands, Cohiba, Macanudo, Hoya de Monterey, even, you know, the Monte Cristos, the Romeo y Julietas, those are just brands. There was no person.
There was no
in front.
person.
Yeah. So it's a relatively new phenomenon. You know, arguably the last 10, 15 years to where that's become really a part of how the premium cigar industry operates. You know,
Got you.
And you know, obviously, over the last year or maybe going back before that, but you know, certainly within the relatively short term time frame is when General Cigar and Cohiba you know, figured that they maybe want to move in that direction as well. So, you know, and here I am sitting talking to you.
This is Seyon Johnson with Cigar Conversations, and I'm here with Sean Williams, and we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be right back. When I was introduced to your label, I saw Sean Williams, you know, the face behind the label, the face behind the brand. Yeah. So I most people would draw an assumption that there was always been someone behind it. Now with that comment, you know, with the transition that you're making right now,
yeah.
How do you cross over as far as, not crossover, how do you see where this is what I'm doing for my company, and I think maybe me stepping back, they might be saying, you know what, I love what Sean does, maybe how he interacts with the brick and mortars, everything. So we want to bring a little bit of that into, you know, behind the Cohiba. Would you think that played a part in it? Because I'm sure they looked at you to say, hey, what is he going to bring to the table to make it interesting?
Well, I assume. I mean, otherwise, there's really no need to have a me, so to speak. You know, certainly I made cigars for 11 years, so
right.
You know, I've been a part of you know, blending cigars and the manufacturing process. I understand how to make cigars. I don't know that they needed me necessarily to do that, though, especially in this current environment. It's not like there's going to be a ton of new cigars entering the market because of the current landscape. But even with that being said, you know, the portfolio is pretty robust as it stands now as far as Cohiba. I have been able to you know, be a part of future releases coming out, like the Cohiba Spectre, which is going to come out next year. Also, I'm going to have a signature cigar coming out with Cohiba. So that part has been great as far as still being involved in the creative process. So I think there's some of that comes to the table because being a small brand like El Primer Mundo, like I have been for years, I took a different approach to making cigars. You know, you didn't make a cigar by committee. You made a cigar by passion. You know, and there were certain dynamics of that was sort of germane to what I did as far as specific tobaccos that I liked or specific profiles that I liked. So that's naturally going to be a part of what happens with Cohiba going forward. But I do like having access to resources that I could have only dreamed of with El
Right.
Mundo. I mean, the tobacco that they have is just, or that we have, is just incredible. So, so it's been interesting.
You see, you said something that is really profound. You said a boutique brand will make cigar by passion versus making a blend, make a blend by passion versus making a blend by committee. You know, that speaks volume there. And sometimes it tends to get lost. The larger you get, you try, the company or the owner behind that try to keep a hold of that because you don't want to lose sight of what the people want.
But and that's the beauty of what's going on right now in General Cigar, because they realize that. So there are passionate people tied to every franchise. I'm just fortunate enough to have the most prominent franchise, but it's amazing because when I first came on, I was just wondering like, okay, well, is it going to be just sort of real, sort of stoic and cold in the approach to business? I mean, you don't know. I mean, I haven't been a boutique guy for years. You hear about General Cigar and other large companies, and you think that these are the big machines, and there's not a lot of heart there, or whatever. And maybe at some point that was the case. I don't know that to be true because obviously I haven't been around that long. But certainly the environment that I'm involved with now with General Cigar and specifically the Cohiba brand is very innovative. I mean, as innovative as you can be being, the largest hand-rolled premium cigar company in the game, but very innovative, even risk-taking, which is a wonderful thing when you have the ability to really impact the marketplace with a brand like Cohiba, but still have the chance to really sort of break out of the norms and do some things different. Now, with that being said, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's a certain level of deference that you got to approach with a brand like Cohiba as far as its place in the marketplace. But at the same time, they're really, really aggressive in their approach to really attracting new smokers. Going into demographics maybe that they haven't had a foothold in the past, and really just sort of charting a solid future for the brand. So it's exciting, man.
We'll talk about a new generation. I want to touch on two. One, the millennials coming in.
All right.
And two, and this is something that I'm driving home, that the ladies, the female smokers, they're just growing in bounds and leaps. And I welcome them. The new name that's been tossed around, one of the young lady here, she has dubbed herself her aficionado, and rightfully so, because I mean, just the stature of how she carries herself, just like a lady, and she's rocking a cigar, and she's knowledgeable. Now there are a lot of women out there like that. Are you guys? Do you know if you guys are doing anything, specifically geared towards that? And obviously, we're not talking about flavored cigars because they're smoking, the strong full body just like you and I.
Okay, so you answered your question. So why should we do anything different? Right? So
let them know that hey, they're here. But
so to answer your question, I'm unabashedly and unashamed and proud to be a 47-year-old man. And I approached this this business, and not just with Cohiba, but I always have from the level of where I am in my personal maturity and as a cigar maker.
Stay tuned. All right, we're going for a break. We'll be right back. Sayon Johnson, Cigar Conversations. Welcome back to Cigar Conversations. This is Sayan Johnson, your host, and I'm here with Sean Williams. Now, and let me touch on this. Very few African Americans have succeeded in this industry. Okay? You went ahead and started your own line, and now you're the first in this position for Cohiba. Do you when you step back, driving home, sitting on the plane, you look back, you reflect. I mean, what does it say for you as an African American? My daughter, my brothers, my sisters out there. Speak on that.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I've been doing this obviously 11 years, and I've known you for a good part of that. Honestly, I don't know if I'm still too comfortable with that question. Because it's antithetical to what cigars are about, right? Sports is sort of the same way, and that I have a lot of experience in. It doesn't matter where a guy was from, what his color was. If he's next to me, I played defensive end, and that defensive tackle, I didn't care where he was from, as long as he kept that guard off me, you know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. And then music, sort of the same thing. I mean, even the thing that's sort of more, probably the most passionate thing at our core, religion, that separates people, right?
Yeah.
Right? So when you get to, you get to music, you get to military service, you get to sports, and the fourth is cigars. Those are, I've yet to see four things that connect people like those things. But to your point, I don't take it lightly. And honestly, when I got started, I didn't realize that there weren't any other African Americans really doing this. I didn't realize that really the most prominent African American probably in the history of this business would be Scott Chester, Acid.
Okay,
States.
okay.
But at the time, I didn't know Acid was Scott Chester, and I didn't know whatever. So I didn't go into it, thinking I'm going to be the first to just stuff. I didn't know any better. And once you get into it and you get bit by the bug and you're in it, at some point you're just too stupid to quit, right? You just sort of stick with it and kind of ride it out. So I'm honored by that. I really am. And it's a big difference. I mean, you look at, we're in Atlanta, and you can probably attest to this.
Yes.
I mean, when I first started, I'll never forget, within the first 6 or 7 months that I started my brand, which would have been early '06, Highland Cigar Bar was building out to open up. And Brian Mitchell was the owner, African American.
Okay, so original. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
the original owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And at the time, he was the only African American that was doing a cigar shop here in Atlanta, whether it be with liquor or without liquor. He was it. He was the only black cigar retailer in Atlanta. Now, I can't even count how many there are. And I can say that about a number of cities across the country. I look at Houston, look at the DC area, the DMV, and you see. So it's been interesting to watch, but I never lose sight of what's at the core. I mean, when it's all said and done, if I don't put out a good cigar, at a price that makes sense for the product.
It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are.
Color doesn't matter, man.
It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You don't get any special allowances either way. You know what I mean? So yeah.
But what have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? But I'm honored by that distinction. It makes me proud, but it makes me even more proud that the audience that's enjoying cigars, something that I love to be a part of, and something that I love to make, and you as well.
Right.
It makes me proud to see that audience is growing and it's more diverse.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, that's what
job
I feel
done.
good about. Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah.
Now, I want to touch on your. I'm working backwards. I want to touch on El Primer Mundo. It's not just in the States. I know you're in Asia and some other places. Where?
El Primer Mundo, yes, is the first international movement that the brand got was to Russia. Distributed through, I think it was Baltico Imports was the company. And that would have been back in 2011. I think 2011, maybe 2010. But yeah, so that was pretty exciting, just to really break out of the States. But the bigger presence outside the States was in Southeast Asia. The Chindasia group Shout out to Hillman and Jason and the guys that imported my stuff there and actually brought me over to be the first person to do in-country promotion events in Thailand. Which is crazy.
Wow.
It's a different thing over there. It's no. Here you show up doing an event and you got table full of boxes and you do the deals and there it's different. It's like this. It's like you show up and there's Esquire Asia, doing a press conference or whatever. It's not even. It's more about the lifestyle and personality than it actually is the cigar. It's a weird thing, but that was crazy. That was man, this business has been good to me. I mean, really. I mean, yeah, the money hasn't always worked out. Certainly, you go through ups and downs and whatever, but overall, this business has been good to me, man. I can't complain. Yeah.
You're after all this time, you're still speaking with passion. So, as long as that light is still going on, it's still going off.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty much gonna, just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going.
I'm gonna try, right? Till somebody tells me different, man. Yeah.
All right, listen. It's been great. I'm glad we got I got some more information for my viewers out there that didn't know the man behind the Cohiba, where he's coming from, where he's taking it to. Until later, Cigar Conversations with Sean Williams.